Alcohol is older than human civilization, older than farming, older than cities, possibly older than humans themselves. Long before bars, beer bottles, or wine existed, nature may have already been getting animals drunk, because whenever fruit rots naturally, yeast begins breaking sugars into alcohol. And that means for millions of years, animals eating fermented fruit may have accidentally consumed small amounts of alcohol in the wild, including our ancient primate ancestors. In fact, some scientists believe humans may have evolved a special ability to process alcohol long before civilization ever existed. Which raises a fascinating question. When did humans actually start drinking alcohol intentionally? The answer takes us deep into prehistory. Long before written history, humans lived as hunter-gatherers. No farms, no breweries, no organized civilization. But humans were constantly searching for calorie-rich food sources, and fermented fruit contained something valuable: extra energy. Alcohol itself contains calories, and ripe fermented fruit was often easier to smell from long distances. Some researchers believe ancient primates that could safely tolerate alcohol gained survival advantages because fermented fruit helped lead them toward high-energy food. Over time, humans may have inherited this adaptation, which means your body's ability to process alcohol could partially come from millions of years of evolutionary history. But accidentally eating fermented fruit is very different from deliberately creating alcohol. That required something revolutionary. Agriculture. Around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago, humans began farming grains and storing food in large quantities. And once humans started storing grains, fruit, rice, and honey together, fermentation became almost unavoidable. Yeast exists naturally in the environment. If sugary liquids sit long enough, alcohol begins forming automatically. At some point, humans realized something incredible. These strange fermented liquids changed how people felt, and that discovery may have altered civilization forever. Some of the oldest evidence of alcohol production comes from ancient China, where humans fermented rice, honey, and fruit nearly 9,000 years ago. Ancient Mesopotamians brewed beer thousands of years before modern nations existed. Ancient Egyptians drank beer so commonly that it became part of daily life. Alcohol spread across civilization after civilization. Beer, wine, mead, fermented drinks became deeply connected to religion, celebration, medicine, politics, and social bonding. And strangely, alcohol may have even helped civilization grow, because early water sources were often dangerously contaminated. Fermentation sometimes made liquids safer to drink than untreated water. In many ancient societies, weak alcoholic beverages became part of everyday survival. But alcohol offered something even more powerful than calories or safer hydration. It changed consciousness. Humans discovered substances capable of altering emotion, fear, stress, confidence, and social behavior. And throughout history, humans became fascinated with that experience. Alcohol lowers inhibition, reduces anxiety temporarily, increases feelings of social connection, and for ancient humans living in brutal conditions filled with disease, danger, and uncertainty, that effect may have been incredibly appealing. But alcohol also revealed something darker about the human brain. Humans are naturally vulnerable to reward systems. The brain releases dopamine when experiences feel pleasurable or beneficial. And alcohol interacts directly with many of those systems, which means alcohol does not merely affect the body. It affects behavior, decision-making, emotions, memory, and social dynamics. Entire civilizations were shaped by it. Wars influenced by drunken rulers, religious rituals centered around wine, political gatherings fueled by alcohol, celebrations, violence, addiction, connection, destruction. For thousands of years, alcohol became deeply woven into human culture because it interacts directly with something fundamental inside the human mind. But perhaps the strangest part of all is this: humans are not the only creatures attracted to alcohol. Monkeys, elephants, birds, and many other animals have been observed consuming naturally fermented fruit and behaving intoxicated afterward. Nature accidentally invented alcohol long before humans understood chemistry. Humans simply became the species that learned how to manufacture it intentionally. And once humans learned fermentation, there was no going back. Entire industries formed around alcohol, massive economies, global trade routes, cultural traditions passed across generations. Some historians even argue that the desire for beer may have helped encourage early agriculture itself. In other words, humans may not have simply invented alcohol. Alcohol may have partially helped invent civilization. And yet, despite thousands of years of experience, humans still struggle to control it. Because the same substance capable of creating celebration and bonding can also create addiction and destruction. Alcohol reveals both sides of human nature simultaneously: pleasure and suffering, connection and chaos, celebration and collapse. Perhaps that is why alcohol has remained part of human civilization for so long, because alcohol does not just affect humans physically. It amplifies parts of the human mind that already exist beneath the surface. And maybe that is the deeper story here. The history of alcohol is really the history of humans experimenting with consciousness itself. For thousands of years, humans searched for ways to escape fear, strengthen bonds, reduce pain, celebrate survival, and temporarily alter reality. And alcohol became one of the oldest tools humans ever discovered for doing exactly that.